had one eye and I'm going for it.
All right. So now we're live on YouTube, and according to convention, we will have 4 or 5 people who will remain anonymous and are always entitled to do so. But that's what seems to happen every time.
I tried not to be anonymous the times that I was on there, but it wasn't letting me show myself.
And those
okay.
YouTube people, it tends to be people who don't remain anonymous, but people on YouTube can participate by putting questions in the comments section. English, please. Yes. Cindy, who just joined? Who just dialed in? Anybody new on the dial-in on the phone? Nope. Okay. I was starting before Dan reminded me that we hadn't gone live on YouTube yet. I was turning to the agenda and noting that the first item on the agenda relates to why we're meeting today, which is that the state party has big retreat coming up next weekend. Now there's some backstory, some intrigue there.
Always is.
Hey Vic. Hey Vic. And the state of relations between the County Chairs Association and the state party, not so good right now. And I gather it was actually delicate to put next weekend together because both are meeting. Both are meeting, both CCA, county chairs and DPW, admin committee and leadership.
It's going to be a full smackdown, or?
They are going to meet separately for a portion, which is to say CCA is going to meet just with the county chairs until, I believe that portion is, I don't know if it's Friday evening, but I think it is Saturday morning. Then in Saturday afternoon, everybody is together. As she has been in the past, third county, I am going to speak coherently, I promise. Third CD chair, Lisa Herman, as she has in the past, was very helpful this week, helping me as Sherpa with this very issue. I do have a scheduling difficulty Saturday evening, which is when the admin committee is. I cannot go. If we would like to designate someone to go, that is definitely an option. But as far as seeking time, we're going to request 15 minutes in the afternoon sometime. Because there's this big, like 1:45 to 5:45, something. There's like this big chunk that we ought to have a shot to get a piece of.
To do?
Picking up, both what we started talking about last week and some of the email traffic in the meantime to make a pitch. I think the pitch is twofold. I think the pitch is about specifically we who lead this caucus are interested in coming to other parts of the state and talking about the most urgent and alive environmental issues that our brothers and sisters are dealing with around the state. That's one pitch/ask. And the other is platform resolutions, which the email traffic has been especially active on, my fault, in between meetings, which on the premise that the emails would help get ready for this discussion. That's fine. I brought hard copies of the most pertinent piece.
He has our back.
Yeah, because it was just like, okay.
All right.
A bazillion emails I have.
So again,
You read them?
filed that.
Filed.
We have not gone from item 1 to item 2. We have previewed item 2 and 3 because they relate to item 1. But before we go on to our plans, our medium-term plans, item 1 is about our immediate plans. So we are focused on 2 things. The request that I made by email and will absolutely close the loop on, first part of this week. Hi, who just joined us? Cindy, we were looking for you. Excellent. We haven't gotten that deep into the agenda. Where we are is item 1, which is focused on next weekend. And the punchline of what I've learned between the last meeting and this is that the best opportunity for us to have 15 minutes to make a pitch on behalf of the caucus will be on Saturday afternoon. I am pursuing that, although the deal is not closed yet, but that's what we're looking for. So there's the question of whether and whom anybody would like to join in that on Saturday afternoon. And then there's the question, as our chair, I have a non-voting membership on the administrative committee. I cannot take part in the administrative committee because I'm married to the Wisconsin's best soprano, who's singing a major solo piece with orchestra on Saturday evening.
To that too.
Excellent. I'm very, very glad to hear that. It's a special thing. Not stuck going to here. But coming back to the point, we're going to get our pitch made and some connections made Saturday afternoon. The question remains whether additionally we want to have someone on hand Saturday evening. That's up to others. I have determined, since I was aware of my own conflict, that the other officers are not free Saturday evening. So now turning to the rest of the board.
Katie has
I obviously have tickets to the same thing.
And,
Okay, so let's just, so we have an opportunity to address, at a minimum, the County Chairs Association.
No,
It'll be a combined.
That is combined.
And that's what I wanted.
Yep.
Okay,
Yes,
so
it
it's
is.
a combined, so you're not
It is.
like this
It is.
double
Yep.
kind of
It is.
twice the work
Yep.
for
Yep.
less exposure. And so,
And if we like this idea of a one-pager, I would bring it in quantity.
right, so our idea is well, some may or may not remember that we exist.
Valid.
Yes.
Yes.
No. That's what. Yes.
So that would be.
Reminder. Yes.
That would be our primary goal. Is we're new. We don't blame them for not knowing, but we are new. This is our focus, and this is what we've done so far.
Yep.
Bum, bum, bum.
Yep.
And by the way,
But most of all.
Yep.
Right. But most of all, here's what we'd like to do.
here's what we'd like to do.
Yeah.
And go to different parts of the state and help address environmental issues of concerns for each part of the state, or provide support and resources where we can to address those issues and help candidates working on those issues. Is that
That's exactly right. That the central thing for us at this point in our development is to finally get out there and engage.
Right.
We're interested in the people on the front lines of whatever their political battle over the environment is. And it's just time, God love us all. God bless us, everyone.
Yes,
in these 4 powerhouse counties that we come from, but it's time.
Ideally, what you'll get out of it is
Some invitations.
invitations right away.
Right.
And if at the very least, don't have something like this, but if the county chairs have a list of when their meetings are, their monthly meetings.
Right.
Assuming they have them.
Right.
will help to kind of fill in the gaps.
And we can try to follow up with an email to every one of the chairs, reiterating the
Right.
offer.
Right.
Yeah, please.
No, I'm just,
Mhm.
so,
Who's that?
Gail Wallace.
Excellent. Oh, great. Thanks for joining us.
when do you want to brief Gail where we are?
So Gail, in terms of the agenda, we are kind of deep into.
I'll catch up.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. I always hate it when you join a conference call late and then people are talking, I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, don't worry about me, just keep going.
You bet, thank you. Do we have an approximate time? I mean, the most logical person.
We don't now. Yeah.
The most logical person is me. I'm here. It would be foolish for a lot of other people to travel when I can go 5 miles south. My day is fairly open. I'm just trying to get a better handle on sort of what that looks like.
So, I will try.
Yeah.
To write Monday.
Okay.
If not Monday, Tuesday, right? I mean, I'll.
Yeah.
I'm trying to reach this person who's been identified for us, who is Devin Remaker.
Okay. And where is Devin from?
Devin is on staff.
Oh, he's on staff.
Yep.
So maybe he's from Manitowoc.
Nope.
It's a Manitowoc name, but, okay. Again, I think
Okay.
I'm the most logical. I was gonna knock doors,
Okay.
but I probably gonna wait to knock doors until like the start of the first week.
And it would have a certain echo from our trip to Middleton, June of
Yes.
2017.
Yes, like they would remember that, but
No, you and I remember it.
I remember
Okay.
it quite well, yes.
It sounds like we're taking a pass on Saturday evening.
Sounds like, and it's just the admin committee?
Correct. That's what's happening. That's what's happening. Is the admin committee is meeting.
Do they have an agenda out?
You don't want to spend more time down there than you have to.
Precisely.
So,
I'm okay with
right.
taking a pass on the admin committee.
Right.
What do they do in the admin?
A lot of it's personnel stuff. It's resource budget decisions. It's governance.
Yeah,
Is it a state party?
yeah. It's the group that we had to go to first to even get attention.
Right. We made we started the process with an application that had to be approved to then go seek signatures.
So
And
the
then-
people on that committee are the,
Some of them
They-
are elected legislators.
sorry.
Yeah, no, it's a large group, actually.
It is.
I think it's probably an unwieldy big group, and I don't know how they get work done, but they do.
Now, Dan tends to know more about these governance things. What's the composition of the admin committee?
So the composition of the admin committee is the officers of the party,
Right.
obviously.
Okay.
And in practice, not a whole lot of other people because they tend not to show up. There's like a seat for the Young Democrats. There's a seat for different interest groups.
Well,
Right.
some of those seats are non-voting.
Yeah, and then there's non-voting seats for the caucus
Right.
chairs and
Right.
things like that. It is my understanding that a large number of times, the statewide committees either just completely don't meet at all, or if they do schedule a meeting, they can't get a quorum together.
Oh.
And this is particularly the case on ones that have elected officials who sit, because they just,
Have to prioritize.
yeah, because, Game of Thrones or a good game might be on.
I mean,
You know.
yeah.
So,
Is that what kids are watching these days?
So all of which seems to reinforce our idea to stay focused on our own opportunity.
Yeah.
Those 15 minutes plus, either that beginning of that, whatever is going to be break time, going to be milling around time as a chance to perhaps meet people individually. Melissa and I will coordinate. I think that takes us through agenda item number 1, which is the plan for next weekend. Okay? And now,
One
yeah,
question about
yes.
that. So the letters to Governor Evers and the copies to Lieutenant Governor Barnes, and I did also copy the DPW.
Mhm.
Those went out.
Mhm.
Is there value in having copies of that, or is no one going to read that?
Oh, why not? We
Okay.
could have a little packet, absolutely.
Yeah.
And by the way, I do have you on the agenda.
Okay.
This is that thing about you're not reading
I'm not
emails
reading
closely. you were going to get.
I'm dealing with clay contractors.
Confession
this week,
is good for the soul. So
Yeah.
we're impressed that you
Yeah.
let us know before it eventually emerged.
Yes,
All right. So the next 2 items
I
are
have no shame.
about these kind of
I'm not gonna have
medium-term plans, both of which are sort of pushes, kind of activity pushes. One of which is time limited because it crests at the party convention in June, and that's item 3. Item 2 is kind of getting down to the practicalities of what we said a moment ago, that the thing we need to be doing more than anything is getting out there and connecting with people on the front lines of whatever fights they are fighting. Coming to the monthly meeting of a county party committee is one way we could do this. I don't think that that's the only way. I could also imagine, or would certainly be willing myself, if for the right 3 or 4 people, to go have coffee, right? If, one of the legislative candidates and some of the people most, active in their campaign, and one of the community's most stalwart activists for a little coffee clutch is another way that I could imagine that. And I say that because in terms of some of the connections that we've made so far, there are a few of those that we've made. I met Rebecca Clark at the anti-Foxconn rally, had a fun conversation with her, had email contact with her. That's just an example. So, but the idea is, I think, that we, who are here talking now, would starting to be taking on some of these travel commitments to go out and make these connections. So here we are finally talking about how that's going to work. Things like, do we think there's value in having 2 people go? It seems to be what we're doing. It seems to be what we're doing in one immediate context. We don't need, one person can go. If what happens next weekend is we, just announce our availability and start to get contact, we're gonna, that will then get us into a mode of, okay, who could go?
Right.
And I believe, as an excellent role model, Shannon Talman, that you've already booked yourself to go
Lincoln County.
to Lincoln County. I'm looking at Vic.
He does not look like Shannon.
Shannon is booked to come to Lincoln County.
Yes.
What was that, Melissa? I didn't hear that.
Well, as he's talking about you, Shannon, he's looking at Vic, and I'm
I
like,
know, I heard that.
yeah, and he doesn't look anything like Shannon.
But I suspected that Shannon might be going to Vic's neck of the woods, if my memory was correct, and it is, and it's actually a lot sooner than I realized.
Man,
So that will be the launch. That will be the launch of our listening tour.
The maiden voyage.
Mm.
If eventually we're going to have T-shirts with
Well, I'm
like
sure we could sneak one in April too.
Oh, you said May. You're
it's,
going.
yeah, it's May.
Scheduled for May.
It's when-
oh May, okay, May. All right, not quite as soon as I thought. Maybe there's not a lot to say beyond what I've said. It sounds like we do think that stronger ties will be made if two people can go to a given visit.
It's not always
That-
practical.
That everybody, as of now, knows that we'll start be having these communications. Like, we'll be starting within the board to say, who could go here, who could go there. And that will be coming, within weeks.
Well,
Can I interrupt?
Yeah, please.
I was following maybe 80% of the conversation in the open session, but it seems like maybe we're talking now, but people going to these meetings of the county parties, et cetera, and with the few resources that we have in terms of human capital, it seems to me that may be over hopeful.
That's a good point. Then that's worth saying, right? That depending on how much demand there is, right? That's right. There could be the kind of demand that makes doubling up
yes,
not practical.
and
that is
what I was-
a good case scenario and one we should be aware of. Thank you.
I think it would be a wonderful thing if we had that kind of opportunity, if you have a bazillion people asking for our esteemed presence. But if that happens, I think we just sit down and prioritize and say, we're a group of 5 to 7 people who regularly participate.
Yep.
Katie and I've been emailing back and forth to the gentleman in Juneau County?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
or Sauk County,
Right.
one or the other. And we've still not sort of
Yeah,
connected
I was
with
kind of
him.
leaving it on, I guess, I didn't see his last response anyway, so.
He said he would
But we wanna
be
go
happy to
together.
come to Stevens Point,
Okay.
and maybe I just offered to meet him in Rapids, something.
Or
like
set
that.
up a conference call.
Yeah, sometimes it's nice to
Yeah,
shake
no,
a hand.
if you of course,
Yeah.
of course. Meanwhile, because there have been 2 or 3 places where I've kind of, so Rebecca Clark is one, Susan, whose name I'm forgetting at the moment, who got in touch with us recently, is another. Brittany potentially is another. Then I'll start out with those and see what happens. That'll be my starting place. Maybe that's enough to say about item 2.
I was
Ashley, please.
just gonna, so mid to late March, I'm going to the Wisconsin Land and Water Annual Convention
Yes.
down in Lake Geneva. So I mean, that's gonna be like a combination of county board supervisors and then also county employees
Staff, yeah.
for, like the conservation departments. Obviously I can't like speak or give any kind of information,
Mhm.
but, if we even had like just some little lit or like little cards or
Yeah.
something to give out, because that's going to be everyone from all the counties in one spot that are typically people who care about
Right,
land and water.
right.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how you.
Right, the
So I'm
tricky,
trying
the
to
tricky,
figure
the
out the
tricky thing
ethics
being,
of
right, it's
it.
a
Right.
official context and it's a
Yeah.
political thing.
But I'm trying to. So you, just because you're a county board supervisor doesn't preclude you.
I mean, you're elected,
Yeah.
the people who voted you in
Yeah,
Right,
hold
Right.
you accountable.
right.
Oh, if you're politicking on the clock, I don't know what that means, what does,
well,
so.
Right.
if it's elected official to elected official, that eases some of this, I think.
Right.
That both are,
Yeah.
And you know,
There are breaks in that, and you'll get to know
Well,
Yeah.
people.
that's what I was
and maybe it's just a
thinking, like,
matter of-
you know, not during
Right.
like a, you know, not during like one of the meetings, but
No, but the
you're
socials are
staying
where,
there for, it's
yeah.
3 days, 3 nights,
Yeah.
like you're staying there and there's off-site.
well, all the garbage
things.
people are gonna be in Stevens Point in 2 weeks.
I'm gonna just bring Jane.
Bring Jane.
Send Jane, she'll hang out. Go
I mean,
picnic.
But
so-
that's, I think you are at liberty, just because you are in a nonpartisan position, doesn't mean you disconnect yourself from your partisan life.
Right.
So, but I think we make a good point. I think there's opportunities outside of the structure
Right.
to have conversations.
At least bring like,
Yeah.
attention to it.
But yeah, a little card with at least a Facebook page.
That's what I was thinking, just something
Yeah.
easy like that.
Mhm.
Doesn't have to be-
I mean, we could make up little business cards, you know, we could.
And that's
Simple,
what I
very
was
simple
thinking, like,
ones
something
with,
real simple.
right, with the, thanks again for the logo.
Yep,
with
the
With
logo.
the wonderful logo.
Yep.
Name, title in terms of, you know, board member, you know, officer, and personal contact info.
Right.
Mhm.
Because then if they want,
Yeah.
they can
Right.
check out the page or
Right.
reach out to
Right.
us and say, hey, come up
Yep.
to
So,
our
okay.
conference.
Yeah.
Let me kind of tease this idea. I like it, and it fits with what you're talking about, right? Because then it's not literature. It's just identity. It's
Right.
like, you know, I'm involved in this way,
Mm-hmm.
right? And here's just contact info associated with
Right.
that. Dan and I have at various points reminded ourselves of why this group has decided not to spend any money. Just because it's highly regulated, political money is highly regulated money,
Yes.
number one. And so there's like record keeping and all that.
Right.
Number two, there's us and the state party. And where I'm getting around to with this is maybe what could be provided to us as a group is just the design, and then the printing of it is on each of us.
The designs are easy.
I've already got the cards set
Yeah.
up.
The
Uh-huh.
design is
So
really
I
easy.
just,
Well, look at that.
Yeah.
I actually printed a bunch of these and have been
Yeah.
handing them out at party
Yeah.
places.
There we
With
go.
the
so I
letters,
just-
the letterhead I made, it took me 3 minutes.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
and I have
And-
color printing and I can just bang off,
Yeah.
50 of these and.
Yeah. That's kind of like the envelopes and the stamps
But-
I use. It was
But, you know, we understand the principle, whether it's on each of us to do the, you know, in whatever Adobe product, you know, or
Adobe
whatever.
Microsoft,
You know,
there's a
right.
lot of different ones.
You know, whatever, whether that we do that for each other, regardless, that when it comes to printing them out, everybody's on their own.
Right.
Because of the money.
Yeah, I mean, you can put them on, go to Digicopy or
Oh,
whatever.
yeah.
And on cardstock, have them cut. You can
Mhm.
get probably 100 of them for a couple of
Oh,
bucks.
there's,
Yeah.
the one, I mean, the online one that always has the discount is incredibly
Yeah.
cheap.
Mhm.
Well, like I said, I have high-speed color
Right.
Xerox printers.
Yeah.
And also
Right.
precision cutting stuff, so.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
we could keep going, you know, giving you things to do like all day long. Yeah. So that's my only hesitation there. But you know, and I will note this in the minutes, I think it's a great idea. It fits with those types of situations. So thanks for that. I think it's time now from 2 into 3.
There was something I wanted to bring up and I didn't know what a good time was.
Tell me what it is, and
Messaging from the standpoint of what's actually happening in the government as we speak. And I thought that might factor in this terms of, like, as an example, this past week.
I can't hear this.
speak up, Vic, please. Vic has been wondering about our potential involvement with issues that he's about to describe.
So what I'm going to talk about is that we talked about messaging in the past, but in a lot of ways messaging is in the here and now. And I know that Governor Evers, for example, started talking about climate change this week. I always forget what the committee that he joined, that the state joined. But those type of things are, I think, things that we can be amplifying that existing message that's coming out of our state leaders, which we have now. So,
Right.
And I think that's an important thing.
So, and what that has to do with is speed.
Yeah.
And we have, in terms of our evolution, if we're honest, immediate response is not a mode that we've gotten into. And that's a challenge that we maybe should embrace, but we haven't set ourselves up yet that way. I will say that what has been on my mind as an even tighter fit with us is 2019 year of clean water. Because so much of our first year and a half or so and what we kind of learned about salience was around clean water, and even more to the point, that clearly looks like something where the governor is saying, this is what we want to deliver, or at least die trying, as Bill Clinton, would say, given the legislature, the opposite party. So, yeah, the question is there about when and how are we, as a network, going to grab hold and start blasting some things out. For the moment, what we seem to be more conscious of is the network part of us. If you look at some of the earliest formulations of who are we and what are we going to be, we said we're a network, and we've been a network of a limited size, and that's what I meant when I talked about hitting pause on the strategic planning. That where we need to be in a few months is that it's not just us. And I think that finding out who the others are and what we're going to do with them is the thing.
And one thing, and then another example would be like the Land and Water Conservation Fund got passed this week. So.
Yeah, I noticed that and was excited to see the Senate Majority Leader tweet about it.
Senator Baldwin had a big part of that.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, as you're making the contacts with the county chairs and stuff, like in Lincoln County, we have before the meeting we send out a newsletter, and so something like that.
So I take the point. That passage of that as part of the package was an important win. It connects closely with what we're about. You're right. It's on our own Senate, very high on our. So I will find stuff on it and I'll blast it out. This week I'll do that. Thank you.
So we need more friends, basically.
That's what next week.
Somebody has a child screaming in the background. Whoever that is, could you be on
It's not me for that.
We've all been there. Let us know. We've all been there.
Mine is usually my dogs.
It doesn't scream.
Yeah, I was burning up your email a little bit recently on platform resolutions, and as was noted before, maybe not everybody really read all that. So let me synopsize it.
I'm just glad that Melissa was the first one
To cop to it. Okay.
I filed that.
Confession is good for the soul. Okay.
I don't have time.
What should not be news to you is the idea of a generic preamble. Okay, I see nodding heads, and I'm glad to see that. As has already been noted, Dan, is it because he's a lawyer? I don't know, but he has tended to clue in a lot into party process stuff.
Yes,
And that's a nice capacity for us to have. And he heard me raise this other idea, aside from having a preamble. What if we had a resolution, no, that didn't focus on an issue, because we've been trying to kind of keep that space open for whatever is got people fired up in different places. But what if we had a resolution that said, you know, what we believe, which is everybody should run on this? And so he wrote one. And I looked at it, and then I took another look at what I had done on a generic preamble, and they looked like they might look nice together. And that's what you have, is looking towards next weekend, you know, and also generally this idea of, hey, everyone who might be building up towards state party convention, you know, the Environmental Caucus is, as you may be working on platform resolutions, the Environmental Caucus has a couple of suggestions for you.
I maybe ask the folks on the phone too what their ideas are, but I like the short and sweet one because we're trying to create a general sort of a non-issue oriented resolution but still elevates the importance of what we've been working on. So I really like option 2, and mostly because apparently I don't like to read a lot.
Here's my guess, and Dan can speak for himself, but I'm guessing that the length of the first one is of typical length.
Well, okay, so the way this thing works, you get 100 words, and that's it. If you don't use them all,
Others will.
somebody else will. Yeah.
That sounds smart.
In fact, we
that sounds like sage counsel.
literally
from the
had
counselor.
a thing at the convention, state convention last year.
Oh,
where-
you mean into
Yeah.
the resolution
Yeah.
you want, they can insert.
Absolutely. People
Oh,
can
okay.
amend them on the
Oh,
floor.
it's words,
Yeah.
text to the max.
Okay.
I thought
Yeah.
it was like some kind of
Yeah.
universal.
Yeah, I was
universal
like-
thing.
or whatever,
No,
like-
no, he literally means use your words.
Yeah.
We're gonna.
Okay.
I don't want that.
Use your
Let's just-
use your words. Yeah.
So in other words,
True.
someone could come along and go, environmental protection issues are not the top of the rung.
Yeah, anyone can come to the floor at the convention and offer an amendment to any resolution.
All right, let's use
Okay.
every
Yeah.
single letter.
Yeah, and
space.
if you don't fill it up, somebody will find a sentence to stick in for you that you didn't
Okay.
intend it to be there.
All right, cool.
So how many?
Yeah, is this 100?
That's 97.
Don't do it. Else be the 3 words.
There's
Yeah.
The environmental issues that captured.
Yeah,
These are
these
shown the concern for them.
No, and I'll tell you,
Yeah.
it gets that crazy. Last year, we had somebody who got up and they wanted to make an amendment, but in order to do it, they had to take words out. And so they started pulling out like thes and ands from other clauses and then dropped in their own extra line. And so if you don't use it all,
Yeah.
if, you just make it easy for somebody to stick in. And climate change is the number one thing, and they will. They will.
I know I can get 3 more words and actually make them relevant on that 3rd or 4th whereas you would put for all local and state elected officials.
State
Local
and
and
local.
state. There it is, right there.
State and-
Because it is relevant, we're not just adding those, we're adding something relevant to it that.
Right,
Wow, that's
it basically spells out what's implied in all.
Precisely.
I love it.
Because what I do like
I
about
love
the top one,
Ooh,
oh,
Yeah, yep. Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I can hear you. Yeah, listen, I have a question about that. If you're talking about the platform and then where they were changing wording, one of the things that was changed was the use of global warming versus climate change. Have we talked about that, or is that part of what you will be looking at?
I mean, that's under the, yeah,
And all of that. That was one of the major changes that was discussed and voted on.
right.
And I didn't know if that's what you were talking about, the wording on the particular environment platform.
No, we,
And I didn't know which one we had decided to stay with.
I don't think we're going to stay with global warming. I think we decided to go to climate change.
Climate change, thank you. I was just asking
Yeah, sure.
where it landed.
Thanks.
So the wording is climate change then.
yep,
As far as I can recall.
Okay,
Yep.
good. That's all, yeah, thank you. That's all I wanted to ask.
yep.
So one thing I see in here is, looks like well-being is in there as one word.
We already have our 3 words. We can't split it into 2 anymore.
I mean, the point is, though, I
Just
didn't know it
kidding.
in the count.
I'll
I'm
I'll
just
check.
kidding.
So I will,
Would that add a
before,
word? That's all
so,
I'm saying. Yeah.
this has been, basically shared in draft, just with, what are we up to, Dan, right now? About 150-ish, right?
Yeah. And you know what? I lied. I actually did make it exactly 100 words.
Okay.
Aw, damn,
So,
man.
sorry.
Now you gotta take 3 out.
Okay.
Because I really like that local taste.
Stay that local.
I'll fit it in
We'll
someplace.
we'll work with it.
It's the exercise of trying to do writing without
Yep.
the.
Right.
Mhm.
So I think this is our general sort of, this is who we are resolution
Right, yeah,
versus, resolutions related to clean water, resolutions related to
Mhm.
clean air,
right.
climate change, hunting and fishing, habitat, blah, blah, blah.
Exactly. So,
Okay.
so in the email traffic, actually not this most recent week, but a little bit earlier, was it Cindy and I,
Cindy,
or was it Pat and I? One of us kind of teased out the kind of thing that might come under option 2. And so that's in the email traffic, and I realize that's probably just within the board. So that's as transparent as I think this group tends to be, and I think we do pretty well. That one thing might not have been visible to the all 150. I don't know what I was going to say, but have we gotten where we need? I know some people.
Well, I
Some
guess-
people we only have until around 5. So
Right, and that's why I guess what I
Yeah,
want
please,
to hear, the bit about the 100 words was really important,
Yes.
probably the most important thing I've heard. So, but what I want to hear from the folks on the phone, there seems to be a general agreement that option 1 hits to the heart of who we are and the things we hope to do in that general way, and the way we want to encourage environmental issues in general.
Yeah, this is ours. This
Yes,
this
this is
speaks for
ours.
us. The
So-
other is for other people who want to do their own, who are going to be doing their own thing. Would they please consider
Using your
devoting
language.
some of their their precious words? And now I'm glad to be reminded of that in this way.
Right. So I want to, because the folks on the phone, it's very hard being on the phone.
Right.
I'm carrying on a conversation. I guess I'm wondering, is everybody pretty cool with that? I mean, and then we can, of course, there's all kinds of issue things that we can get into, but let's start. This is our starting point.
I'll be in.
Okay.
That's,
Yeah, looks good to me as well.
okay.
Becky, I'll forget you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
And thanks for stopping and double checking for us, Melissa. I appreciate that. So we are approaching 5, and we don't have to go till 6. And believe you me, we've got a pretty good record of finishing early, fairly often? Okay. So there is one thing here that we glossed over. And it's again having to do with deploying ourselves. And it relates to the platform process because as Dan has reminded us and certainly, registered with me, CD conventions are important for this.
Yeah.
Right. So whatever's happening in county party committees, CD conventions are the place where, to the extent that we're going to push ours, that's an important place. And
April 27th in Marshfield.
And we should cover CD conventions as best we can. I've got the flip situation that I had last year. Last year, I could go to CD convention and went and couldn't go to state convention. This year, I can go to state convention and can't go to CD convention. But all I'm saying, it's similar to what I was saying before that we all need to come out of this meeting knowing that the board is going to start to, we're going to start to be talking to each other about who can do this, who can do that. And one of those things is going to be who can go to this who can go to this CD convention, who can go to that CD convention.
So do we have a list of
I'll
all?
be going to the 8th CD convention for Allegheny County. And I just actually signed up to be delegate. I'm assuming we have to be delegates. I'm not sure. Put forward a resolution. Is that not correct? Or it doesn't matter because we're part of the caucus?
Okay, so let me jump in there because the timing on this is actually tighter than you would even think. It is. I don't know how closely other CDs follow the rules on this, but according to the bylaws, resolutions cannot be introduced directly at a CD convention. They first have to be introduced and approved by a county party.
Okay.
Straight.
Yeah, I remember we had a little back and forth on that last year.
So you got to start at a county party, and then you have to do it early enough that it can get up to the CD convention. And I'm looking at the calendar for the district conventions right now. 2nd and 4th are already done because they are having very early conventions this year. The rest of them start in the beginning of April and run through May, which means that at least for the first, it's got to be at their next month's meeting. The 1st, the 6th have to be at their next month's meeting if you're going to get a.
When is the 3rd? It's early May, I believe.
3rd is May 4th.
Yep, that's the weekend. So I will bring this to I'm going to bring this to Portage County.
Yeah, so how many
sure.
counties do we have represented here so that we can get those aligned with conventions
yes.
to see
Good.
who is
Excellent.
able to do that?
Unfortunately, Shannon, Ashley, and I are all from Marathon County 7th CD, but I don't think that's hard to get through. I mean, the Marathon County definitely.
And
just to do it,
Lincoln County
just
is
to do it
the
timely.
7th as well. So, but it's great if it's coming from 2 counties. That would be good, right?
Usually it's 7th CD conventions.
Okay.
Likewise, Wood is in the 3rd.
Yeah, what is in the 3rd?
Okay.
Okay, let's just wait.
Well, you might as well make it 2.
Okay.
Let's start
Yeah.
with the 1st congressional district. Do we have any resources in the 1st congressional district?
Let me look. I have the membership list broken out.
Say that again, please.
Is that the area up north one? Is that the Mayfield area?
No, that's us.
Is that the south one?
No, what's his name extends from up there all the way down to Wausau.
Yeah.
That's how the Jeremy
Sean
did
Duffy.
it. Sean Duffy. Yeah, I didn't even want to think of him.
I know.
Yeah. What's his name?
One by Jagger right next door.
Okay, so while he's looking, do we have anyone here from the 2nd CD?
It's already passed.
Second and
do it.
4th are
Never
Wood.
mind.
That's mine anyway.
Okay, that's yours. Okay. 3rd CD, that's us.
That's yep.
Portage County.
Portage and Wood.
Portage and Wood,
So
okay.
I will talk to
Is part
Jay.
of it,
Pardon me?
is it Southern Wood that's in?
might be split.
Because I know, I mean, Wood County I thought was in 7th CD. Because Marshfield is in Wood
I
County.
think it's split.
Is
It
split?
is,
It's
it
split?
is.
Okay.
The thing
I
about
did that too on
the
Idaho.
thing about the third, it reaches from
Oh, I know.
here to
So-
lacrosse.
Lacrosse, yeah.
And then they, at the last gerrymander, they stuck this little chunk of it out in the middle of the state to pull red votes into it.
Right.
So it's
But I
just
hope
all
that works
over the
against
place.
them.
Oh, it has been.
Demographics are.
Yeah.
It has
We-
been kind of been killing them.
Okay.
I digress.
Fourth CD.
Their convention is.
That's also one that's, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're never gonna get to them in
They've
time.
already
Fit.
had it.
Pardon me?
Oh, they've already had it.
Or,
Well, they're
no,
having it at the end of.
where there's no month in between now and then.
Yeah, that-
That's it.
It is possible. I will have to say, I have to go look to see when their county, there might be one of the counties in the 4th Congressional District that still has a shot. It's March 23rd is their CD,
Which congressional district?
4th,
Fourth.
okay? So you might be able to find one county party in there where there's still.
You know what? As far as our efforts, I'm gonna say that's this is great. This
You wanna
planning,
nerd out
this
and
is
figure
great.
that
The
out
planning that we're
before-
doing.
Yes.
But I'm
Okay.
ready to let that one go.
Okay.
Okay. So
5.
fifth congressional district. And I guess we're Outagamie County. What CD?
She said 8.
We are the
Eighth.
CD.
Okay, so we have this 7th we've got covered. Okay.
The 6th.
Yeah, and then 8th we've got covered. And I'm sorry, you said I have it. I don't know who you are because is it Gail?
No, Cindy.
It was
Cindy.
Cindy. That's what
Okay.
thought.
I just
It was Cindy.
And I
Yep.
know the sixth CD is Winnebago County and Portage, so I don't know if we have anybody representing the sixth, or if that was.
6, I
already.
think 6.
We might not. We might be blank there. I mean,
But
that's
that doesn't
that's.
mean
On April 7th.
It's possible that there's someone on our list, right? It's possible, but I think that observation is telling us what our future challenge is.
Yeah. So
Right.
let's see where we can maximize the resources. We've got the 8th covered, the 6th covered, or 7th, excuse me. The 3rd covered,
3, 7, 8.
3, 7, 8. The 6th, if that's Winnebago, I mean, why not try to reach out to
Oh, make that. I see. Making that a priority.
just someone in Winnebago County? Or are there Democrats in Fond du Lac County?
Well,
Yeah.
there's the Winnebago County Democrat Party, so it's in Oshkosh. They have
Okay.
their offices
I
right
think
now.
I've got a
Go
con.
ahead.
Yeah. Let me.
You ready to take that on?
Well, so one of my colleagues, he's actually the chair of the Winnebago County Solid Waste Management Board. And he used to be on county board, he's not, he's the retired fire chief from one of the municipalities. He is a rabid union guy. I don't know if he's a party member, but I think he knows who
Can be able to connect you.
who can connect me.
Thank you.
So talk with Pat O'Brien.
And you know who might be able to do the 4th is she came last
Brittany.
month. Brittany. She's from Milwaukee.
Yeah,
She would know how to get into the 4th.
Okay, you want to take that
I
one?
will. I will.
Okay, you will.
I will.
So
Thank you.
if
This
we
is great. I'm glad
if we
came
can
back to
get
this.
3 or
Kinda
4 congressional or parties or county parties in the different CDs, we will have not just one voice or 2 voices,
Yeah,
but the voices. of
I'm
multiple.
getting excited just sitting here. Actually.
You get goosebumps?
Yeah, kind
Yeah.
of.
Hey guys, who said, Congressional District 4? Have you got somebody that?
Oh, so I'm getting in touch with Brittany.
But I think
Um,
we have Gail from Milwaukee, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so you have somebody that's in the area, Congressional District 4?
Well, we
well-
do have one other person. Do you know when your county party is meeting next? Do you have another meeting before the end of March?
Yeah. Okay, I gotta go look it up. I don't know yet. It's usually the third Monday of the month.
Which would be this coming month.
Wow.
Yeah, I think this is. That Monday, and I can go to that one. Did you mention, you jumped over District 4, and I don't know if you have, Mister, you just jumped over us.
You know what, initially,
I can't hear you.
yeah, sorry, it's so hard on the phone, and I apologize for that.
Who did you say, could you just tell me?
Sure,
Who you have there?
No, we can, no, we can introduce you.
yes,
I'll work with both of you so that you're ready. And that's not
Can I have a name or?
Brittany.
Is that for Brittany or somebody?
Yes, it is Brittany.
Okay,
VULICH.
I'm not getting this.
VULICH.
Haven't been able to get to their meeting, I can study, I do taxes, so.
oh,
I'm trying to get involved, and I'm gonna be signing up for delegates for the convention, I've not gone to their meeting this year. But I plan on going to the next one, I've got it scheduled for Monday the 18th.
I will follow up with both of you tonight. I will follow up with both of you tonight.
So the county
Try
party
to
meeting,
follow up with both of you tonight, Gail.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
perfect.
Great.
Thank you.
This is Shannon, I have to sign off.
Okay.
Bye,
Thanks,
Shannon.
Bye,
Shannon.
Shannon. Talk to you soon.
And well, this was good. I was having trouble getting on the YouTube to do the live see you. That's why I got on late. So now I got the hang of it. So I will be here next meeting. Okay, thank you.
Nice.
I'm gonna hang up now.
Okay.
All right, thanks, Gail. Thanks for connecting with Brittany then.
It's okay. I will stay in touch. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right,
so at the county party meetings, we just bring the,
what we need is a clean copy with this. just
Exactly,
this-
because giving both options is is when we're just letting it out there,
Yeah.
right? Anything that we are following through on as part of our effort building towards state convention is focused on option one,
okay. So basically we take option 1 to the county
Yes.
party meeting.
right?
Yeah,
And
don't
say-
even give them,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
And
We're
then,
correct.
and ask them to
Pass.
pass. the
yes. Can you
resolution.
support this so we can
And-
advance
and-
it to?
And so for Lincoln County, we have a phone call on Monday, and we have our next in-person meeting is on March 18th. Is that an in-person meeting?
Great day, it's my birthday.
Oh, nice. Birthday, okay. So,
It is.
so we would be able to do that in March.
What's that?
Because you're in
April
7th,
1st.
you're in 7th?
Birthday spicy, sorry, Aries.
And you only need one CD to push forward that to get it to the convention for. So.
This is
When they go to-
this
when
is
they bring
excellent.
these resolutions forward anyway, at the convention, they sort of put a lot of them that are sort of together, similar, and they kind of weed them out that way. Is that not correct?
They do that, and we will be pushing against that. We will be saying that the caucus is making a bold statement about all Democratic candidates in our state running on these issues, whatever ones that they think work best, but running on them. So we in this case would be saying we have an interest in one particular resolution. Whatever may happen with related resolutions, we really do want to see this one, and that's a point that will be reinforced if, as it seems from the time that we've just spent, we managed to get this coming from multiple CD conventions.
Right, and multiple counties, and that's all
Right.
really
Well,
cool.
because you
Right.
could get it, because it'll have to go from the county then to the CD convention,
Right.
because they'll wrangle with it.
They'll wrangle, yeah. So, and is Jay in southern Wood County or northern Wood County, do you know? See, Wisconsin Rapids.
I think he is in Rapids.
Yeah, so,
3.
yeah, that's 3, and we've got Portage County, but it'd be great having
Portage
something
and Wood,
coming
yeah,
from
that's
Wood
the
as
idea.
well, so.
Absolutely, I'll reach out to Jay.
Okay, wonderful.
So here's the thing. I'll focus on third CD county parties passing, and somebody's going to have to go to third CD because I'm going to my high school reunion, okay?
Oh,
Sue me.
boy. Oh, boy.
That was the
He
April,
said in his best New York
April
accent.
27th one. Yeah,
May 3rd and 4th.
Oh, May
That's-
3rd and
that's-
4th.
That's what I'm going with. Yeah.
That's interesting. I actually had a meeting. That's a Friday. I have a meeting canceled.
So the 4th, I guess convention would be the 4th. Convention would be the 4th. But I'll make sure that Wood and Portage get done. And this is, we didn't know we were going to do this, and I think it's cool that we did. So thanks to all for that. We are ready to proceed on that. So the other two items, that next item, I don't know. Like a couple months ago, we thought it was important.
Yeah, well,
But maybe we don't.
yeah.
Maybe we don't feel that way 2 months later, and that's okay. But I think it is my job to just kind of keep track that we used to,
So,
okay?
yeah, I like, obviously, I like planning. This is what I do.
That's why we like you.
And I like parsing things out like that. But right now, it's like
We're doing a lot.
we're doing a lot. And I
Right.
think what's going to happen is we're going to hit that point where we're going to have to prioritize. And that's going to, then we're going to have to step back and go.
Okay. So let me link two things. Here's I felt clearly enough about not continuing with strategic planning that I, said why. Lisa does remind me it is a requirement. And the fact is, I haven't confirmed when those are supposed to be done, at least according to the rules. And it's a volunteer effort, and I'm not going to make an ironclad commitment to live by those rules.
So,
But these
Yeah.
two things that actually they were associated when we were talking about them 2 months ago, and we could, in our own minds, keep them associated and say, we're not blowing off the commitment to write a strategic plan. What I said about it was, I think that doing these things, making these visits and talking to more people is going to tell us
What you
how we're going to grow. What it's going to inform the strategic plan.
I think that's, we can't make it in a vacuum.
Right.
I believe that.
But we could associate, we could continue to associate the idea of a membership meeting
and
with
also,
strategic plan.
it's okay to push back a bit and go,
Yeah.
what are you do nothing to help us. We take our own time,
A lot of it.
travel. You guys are traveling, Dan's traveling farther than anyone, and we are trying to do the right thing, so back off.
Absolutely. And
I thought he was going to say, no, it was a little tough.
it was,
Absolutely.
I mean, so we have two strategic goals, right? We
Piss off the party.
kind of, actually.
Yeah.
Kind of,
Yeah.
right. The first one was, damn it, we want everybody to run on this stuff. And that's about the whole state. The second one has more than a little to do with they've done jack shit to help us.
Right. So we're doing it our way.
It's part of the
A little bit
dynamic.
of Frank
right.
Sinatra there,
Right.
but
Okay.
sometimes you just have to push back.
We have taken on a lot of work with what we've talked about
Yes.
here, and organizing that big meeting. We're not taking that on right now. Okay, that's number 4. The last item on the agenda.
Before we leave,
Yeah.
is this something we want to do though before the convention? The state
I'm
No,
I'm aware. No.
No.
The short answer.
No.
convention? Or is it something we can do at the state convention, like we can meet?
Well, we will. We're required to. We will do at the state convention. The question was, and that's business, right? It's a business meeting. I don't know. It will have its own dynamic, right? Because it'll be amidst the mayhem of the state convention. We have to conduct our elections and all that. I think we hold the idea open for the second half of the year, basically, is what I think.
Our convention is the first week
Yes.
So this is already March, April, May, that only gives us basically 3 months.
Yeah.
Right, we don't, right,
Yeah.
it's the combination of what we've just assigned ourselves to do and the shortness of time. And for both the strategic plan and a membership meeting other than state convention, for both of those, I believe what we're saying is, let's look at it again in the second half of the year.
Yeah.
Okay?
I'm okay with that.
Cool.
Thanks, Cindy. So Melissa's going to report back to us right now about, she sent the letters off
Yes.
to the governor and lieutenant governor.
And the DPW, but I have not heard back yet.
Uh-huh.
I figured, well,
Any confirmation of receipt from,
I sent hard copies.
oh, you didn't do it electronic.
I decided
Oh,
to send.
That's so
Old
old,
school.
that's so old
It's
school.
old
But we're
school.
bringing back the old school. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I know it's old school, and I hesitated, but I thought, you know what?
Okay,
I get tons
okay.
of emails.
Mhm.
And I have found in my lobbying work, advocacy, is
I was about to look you up to see if you're on the lobby registry.
Yeah.
yeah, advocacy, yeah. That phone calls and
Town
hard
identified.
copy letters get far more attention than emails.
Okay.
So that's why, but I was gonna follow up with a phone call,
I want to confirm one thing,
yes.
that the last line of the letter was changed from feel free to be in touch with any one of us to Melissa Johnson will be your,
Well, actually, what I
Yes.
did was I
Point of
put in
contact.
parentheses by my name, primary contact.
that's how you
So-
handle it. Okay, great,
Yep.
thanks. I'm going to raise the idea of adjourning. Wow.
Second.
Oh, no, please.
Dan's
Quick
good.
thing.
Yep.
Why don't we drop your letter out to public too? Let's put it on the Facebook page.
Oh, okay. I was gonna
Both,
put it.
both things,
Yeah,
both things,
okay.
yes. Agreed.
I was going to put it on, because Facebook doesn't like PDF, so what format should I send it to?
JPEG. Or
JPEG?
you could just use the text. You could copy and paste the text.
Sure.
No,
Okay.
actually, no, I think a photographic image is the way to go.
JPEG.
Well, just making sure people can read it.
Yeah, because it gets a little small. I thought about copy and pasting it to a PowerPoint slide, because that I know you
No,
can post,
okay.
but
I apologize, so I was engaging.
So is there a way to electronically send your letter, Melissa, to all the county chairs?
I
Let's do
absolutely, but I
both.
would need all of
Let's
their
do both.
addresses. Okay,
We'll send both, we'll
Spread
send,
that for you.
thank you.
thank you very much for compiling that. No, that,
You're a magician.
yeah, exactly. On the one hand, I said, I don't want to ask Dan to do everything. On the other hand, I do want to accept certain offers. And teeing up a listserv with the county party chairs, I absolutely want to accept
Or else,
it.
if you want to just send it, I don't know if I kept it. If you could resend that to us, I could just forward that on to our county chair.
Sure, I can, yeah, I still have it,
Both.
absolutely,
Both.
but I think
But-
it would be great, it's a great idea, I love the idea of sending it to the county chairs.
Together
Yeah.
with, together with our,
Yeah.
together with our platform resolutions, resolution.
So,
Yeah.
great idea. Thanks, Dan,
Um,
for getting the
but-
email list for me.
I feel silly because I just contradicted a professional social media person. Now,
I'm integrated now. It's fine.
but what I thought when I said that was,
An image, a beautiful image.
it wasn't even saying that necessarily. I was just saying that the text of a Facebook post does not,
Yeah,
Not
if
as
it's, only, if
engaging,
it's text
right?
only, people
Not
often gloss over it.
Yeah,
However,
okay.
I just think it would be good if people actually read what it was and could. So if you're making an image that's readable, perfect.
We
Or
could,
you
if
could
you
do
want,
both in the same post.
you could
Yeah.
drop a link also on the Facebook page, and I can put a PDF or some other high-res thing up on the website that would be able to.
Well, and I'm wondering if it's, and
Not just-
Or do you just pull out a quote of it that's really poignant?
Yes, and
And
then,
link to it, whatever. I'll do
and,
it.
well, an image, we need an image of, I don't know, Rip Mountain or something,
Sure.
don't you think? Because that's, people see that, and then they'll see.
Are you an
the quote.
administrator? You are, right?
I think so.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So you'll do that,
Can you pretty it
and
up
I'll
for me,
do,
Katie?
and I'll do
Yeah,
likewise
send
with the
me the
resolution.
letter, I'll just,
Okay.
I can make a little image that will be shareable.
Thank you, ma'am.
My last question is this:
No more questions.
What became of option 2?
We get one.
Are we
I'm coming back-
offering it to other,
That's what I'm asking,
I-
because it's
I don't-
kind of pertinent to go into Plover next weekend.
I mean, we would love people to use that language if they could fit it into their own resolutions, right?
Mhm.
Like, isn't that kind of the
I
vibe?
mean, that's the idea, right?
Mm-hmm.
So keep them together for Plover.
Bless you.
Yeah, and maybe this is going to be the Environmental Caucus sponsored resolution, and then this is language for your own.
Template.
No,
for
that
your
is
own
what it is.
resolution.
Yeah, I'm just,
But, oh, relabel.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. I'm gonna revise the one pager with this in mind to play up the difference between the two and play up the fact that the first one is ours and we're pursuing it.
Right.
And okay.
And
I'll do that.
if you,
Yep. Okay.
you know, I don't know, Greene County want to do something and introduce something.
That's
Yeah.
what I'll
Yeah.
make the distinction clear.
Yeah, Sauk
And I'll-
County, for instance,
okay.
they focus on groundwater issues because
Right.
they have polluted water.
Okay. Very
That makes
good.
sense.
Very good. I can't believe what we covered in 75 minutes, frankly. But thank you.
Get her done.
Yeah, that was excellent.
Yes.
Did anybody, first of all, how many people have been on YouTube?
4.
Always.
Woo!
And no comments?
Nope.
And all anonymous?
We could,
Okay.
before we go, are we going to set up another meeting?
Oh, so thank you very much, Cindy. So, and the reason that's important is the overwhelming consensus was screw weekday evenings.
Yes.
So those first 2 years that we spent doing that, forget. And so let me just, first of all, confirm, it seems like Saturday late afternoon. This is not an accident that we're here Saturday late afternoon versus Sunday versus earlier on Saturday.
Yeah.
Saturdays and Sundays are good for me because every day of the week I have meetings for something, so.
But others are expressing more strongly a Saturday preference.
Yep.
We're hearing that, maybe not from you, thank you, Cindy, but others are saying Saturday. Okay. So, and again, it's the Saturday, I think, this Saturday, 4 o'clock, 4 to 5:30. Now we got to pick one. How long are we going to pick them one at a time before we
We need to
pick
set
one
up
per month?
a regular, but let's just set
Right, for
March and
this
then-
time, we're going to pick one. We're going to pick one for March. And then,
Hang on, I gotta get the calendar.
yep,
So just so everyone knows, March 16th and March 23rd are the 2nd and 4th congressional district conventions respectively. So that limits us to
The
se-
30th.
the 2nd, 9th, and the 30th. Yep.
I have a ton of
not we're not meeting on the 2nd. We're not meeting on March 2nd. That's like
Yeah.
way too soon. That's not.
Tomorrow,
Exactly.
time to come back.
So that means the 9th or
Or
the 30th.
Well, the 30th would work for me too.
30th, I'm good.
The 9th I think will work. I think the 9th and 30th works either one for me.
30th?
Tell you what, let's give Shannon a vote. What do you think? Does anybody have a strong preference 9 versus 30.
Shannon left the call.
Yeah.
Right, she's gone.
I'm good with either, as long as we make a decision soon,
Yes.
because
Yeah.
I have, my Saturdays are gonna, in March are gonna be knocking doors, so,
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do have an election.
she has a challenger.
yeah.
Yeah.
My side
his-
came in
Well,
today.
is there be better if you're knocking doors, or is it with the?
that's get out the vote, isn't it?
That's a GOT time, so,
Yeah, that's right before.
you know, late afternoon, if,
4 o'clock, though, they,
go ahead, Cindy.
before, it gives you all day to knock doors.
Well, you're also,
Yeah.
would have permission at that time of year, and it's a
Yeah,
miss.
and also I'm gonna need to sit down at some point, because my feet don't walk as well as they used to.
So we will decide soon, but we will also give Shannon a vote between the two.
Okay.
All right?
Yep, that's fair.
Thank you, everyone, so much. We are going to lower the thermostat to 56 or 57. We don't know whether we're grateful to whoever left it at 64.
Hopefully we're just in here.
It's
this
kind of,
afternoon.
that's what we're going to tell ourselves, that they were aware of our meeting and it was last night.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.